Uh, Hi, my name is Wallace. I'm a vampire. I want to talk about two things I don't want to talk about, so I'm talking about it. I wanted to finish that story. A few videos back, I talked about a story when I was in the military, and on the topic of guilt, on the topic of not wanting to work with others because of trauma and guilt. Um, and I just did a video about feeling like I'm the only I was gonna say the only man in the room um, in a situation, trying to make the right decision. And to talk about um, how I view um, just say it, you know, having other. It's basically just I want to say just having people in my life in a more vulnerable, closer way, and that's part of the reason why I made this video series is to open up. So uh, clearly, I don't want to talk about it or even uh, think about the fact that uh, I'm basically saying that I know that there's like a better life out there for me, but I've turned my back on it uh, for simplicity's sake, and not for other reasons like fear or say trauma. But it's both of those things. I'd be honest and say they are part of it of making that decision. You know, before I talk about that story, I want to say that there's a part of me that wakes up every day and kind of expects, like when I wake up in the morning and I'm starting my day, I'm expecting, like, oh, here I am. I'm pretty dang strong. I'm pretty dang, inside, like strong as a man, and very more and more confident and true, and surviving and trying my best. I did that today, gonna do that today, did that yesterday, did that every day before, and I've got a good system of doing things, uh, or a pretty decent one, a really good one for developing myself. Maybe not ideally, maybe not in certain ways, and it's pretty painfully obvious. In certain ways, I'm very inexperienced, uh, and it's bothering me. It's bothering me that that I realize today, and I spoke about it in the last video, how being vulnerable and trying to make the right decision with someone I care about, who is also being vulnerable with me, how it feels like that there's a whole, I want to say like an arena or like a landscape of myself that is unexplored, and just tasting that, it makes me want to it I'll just say it. I'm not trying to be like sexual or anything, but it does tease me to think that I don't know how to put it, but yeah, I think that's the feeling. Um, and it one part, it's there's a part of me that wants to be the best I can be, but also there's a part of me that I don't know, kind of drawing a blank. Probably another therapy moment. So, uh, back to that story. Talked about how I was in basic training and I was on guard duty, and this drill instructor was uh, pounding on the door trying to get in. And I wasn't supposed to let him in. And long story short, I let him in when he said it was when he made it clear that it was a emergency. But here's the thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. I don't think I would not like if this is what I'm about to say is something that I would probably get really really mad over. Like if I'll just say it. Part of me wanted to let him in, just to see what would happen. Like part of me was kind of where like, okay, well maybe this is he's wanting me to, my buddy beside me and the other people. Like by this point, everybody's awake, you know, and the guy beside me, um, he's like, yeah, man, let him in, you know. And part of me is like, well, I'm gonna let him in, and I'm like letting him in. I'm like, I don't really know. I don't. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I shouldn't be letting him in to where we're all at, you know. But part of me was like, man, I kind of want to see what's gonna happen. There's a very small part of me that when you realize that like there's a very small chance that this could be absolutely terrible, but you're like, well, I'm gonna do it. It's like peer pressure almost. I want to blame other people, but it's my decision, so I let the guy in. And I'll try to say this quickly and briefly and lightly because it's hard for me, uh, and forgive my lack of appropriateness as I say this, but um, it is a therapy thing and trauma thing. So I was punished. Um, the guy lit me up in my face, and he made me feel as I was in shock. I was in shock that I had let everybody down, and now they were all dead. And there was a moment that I've never experienced before, and I've never experienced before since then as well. That I felt like my brain shut off. Like there was just a moment where all I could see was like I blacked out, and all I could see was just like this. It was like a lightning bolt. Instead of like being able to see with my eyes open, everything was blacked out, and it was just like a lightning bolt. And in that moment, I was like, what is going on?" And next thing I know, he's giving me orders to. I was crying. I remember crying. He gave me orders to. He gave everybody. There's about 30, 40 young men in uniform. Uh, we were sleep. I think we were sleeping in uniforms. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Some guys were sleeping in like full uniform, or the whatever they call them. I forget what they're called. Anyway, um, he ordered them to lie on the ground and pretend they were dead. Um, and he wanted me to go to each one of their bodies and apologize to them for their deaths. And then afterwards, to write letters to their loved ones, explaining to why I had let them die. Um, well, I didn't get, I went to each of their bodies, and I did it. I apologized. I was crying, and but he didn't have me write the letters. I was extremely traumatized. Uh, uh, I don't really remember what happened after that, but I still remember seeing their bodies. Um, these young guys in uniform. Like, even though it was a punishment and an exercise, part of me that bothers me the most is the fact that these young guys, they didn't really have a problem with it. They just did it. It's almost like they were some of them were just like, oh, this is kind of, it's like they were okay with it, with what this, and it made me really sick, feel sick. Um, um, so I don't know. Um, I don't quite know if what the feeling is of, or the feeling that I was left with, or you try to understand, but I just felt like I was. It's something similar to like when I was injured and I broke my leg, and afterwards, I've got a leg that doesn't work as well. It's the same thing. It's kind of like my brain. It's like, well, my brain is different. It's not working as well. Try to look for something positive to walk away with. Uh, Next few things, I want to be careful with what I want to say. Um, you know, Regarding, I don't want to say something. I want to say some things regarding. Let me put it delicately and not offensively, but that it's to me, it is very serious. It's that's why we were there. We're soldiers, training to be soldiers. Um, it's and that's what it is. You know, it's not supposed to be easy, and clearly, the process of being punished is not supposed to be enjoyable. Um, and I want to say that was the first time I've been punished, like, um, to that magnitude of feeling that bad. But it's not true. I've been punished before, growing up. But the feeling of failure was immense. You know, it touched on something that, I come from a military family. People, right? You know, um, men who I wouldn't question their things like that or talk about things of that they have experienced, um, out of fear and respect for their service. Um, but I felt like such a failure, put it lightly. And I don't think I was prepared. Like, when I opened myself up to being to this guy yelling in my face, uh, I was like, well, this is surely not going to be as bad as it could be, right? And I'm like, well, no, he's going to make it even worse. And that's my first point. You know, I just wasn't ready. But also, it's still long ago, and felt so young and stupid. I'm not. I know I'm not. It hurts me to see, to consider myself at that age as well to be exceptional, but still, um, to know that there are others that are less exceptional, or maybe more exceptional, but less exceptional, of the same age, of the same situation. That it was like they're still children, and after that, um, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right to it, it, seeing. I know things are the way they are, and that, but my feelings are, and my values. I want to say that I was going against what I believed was right, So I shut down. Yeah. Um. Uh, there was a point when I was in the process of being basically kicked out that I kind of made a deal with God. Really, it felt more like making a deal with something evil. But in reality, I was pretty freaking out of it, traumatized and pretty crazy. But now I was praying to God. And I was saying, I'll do anything to get out of this place. And I promise, I swear, um, that I'll help others as like making a deal with God. Like needed to offer something of myself. And since then, I remember getting out, um, and was I remember a long car ride home. My father and my grandfather, who both served, and I was absolutely crazy, but I was ecstatic to be out. But I can't imagine what it felt like for them. I can't imagine. But that has that night and other events of that followed me um, in the process of leaving, the process of being a failure, trying and failing, and eventually getting out. Um, has never left me. Uh, so okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click. I'm gonna end this video right here, but yeah. Uh, thanks for letting me vent, and I I feel terrible, but also and it feels good to talk about it. So, all right, we're going to go. Y'all have a good night.